The Out of Bounds podcast is brought to you by the delicious Philly cheesesteak sandwich and cheeseburgers at Roosevelt's at Live Oaks Golf Club.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
Are you ready? Yes!
Now live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the BankPlus Studio.
Listening to
Mississippi's #1 sports talk show, The Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. Streaming worldwide live on the Out of Bounds radio app and on your radio at ESPN 105.9. The Zone.
All right, good morning. Welcome in. Out of Bounds, 105.9 The Zone. WRKS, 105.9 The Zone. Streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app and the Zone1059.com. Show is brought to you by the Great Steaks and bourbon selection at Kessler Prime and the Renaissance. Visit KesslerPrime.com to make a reservation. Feels good outside, Blake. I like it. This is definitely better weather to tell, although it's going to jump up a little bit tomorrow. I was hoping it would continue to dip. So it could still be rather warm in Davis Wade Stadium, Starkville, Mississippi at 11 a.m. as Mississippi State will host Blake Scott's LSU Tigers. And we really don't know what to do with this game. It's funny. You can really make it simple. LSU has more talent. Mississippi State has a better head coach. Probably defensive coordinator from what Zach Arnett's showed you, I think, the last year or so. But now LSU has more talent, by far and away. But, hey, it's all about executing. And according to Vegas, it's 2.5 for LSU. They are minus 2.5, the LSU Tigers in Starkville. And a lot of you are asking, hey, what are you going to see from Will Rogers in the offense? Well, I don't know. Will's played well. You want him to be even better, and I get it. He plays the most important position on the field. He has he's probably the best true sophomore quarterback you've ever had throwing the football at this time. Mm-hmm. You're not a program that's ever thrown the football well for the most part. 14-15 with Dak. Well, maybe I can't remember his name, like Dave Mahler or something in the late 60s, early 70s. But for the most part, you have been option or zone read or 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And, you just haven't thrown the ball well. I mean, Cheryl was not – they never had a year where maybe that one Kevin Fant year where they were just throwing it around all over the place because they were down 28-7 all the time. But, it wasn't really a natural thing for the program at that point. You weren't really set up to sling it. And we weren't generating as many reps and plays back then.
Nope.
I mean, Kiffin and Leach will run a ton of offensive plays on a Saturday. And Oklahoma and now Bam, all these teams that we watch. They don't just sit there and bleed the clock. They're no huddle, line of scrimmage, boom, let's go, which makes the game more fun for us. Blake can't imagine what it was like in 1983 in Veterans Memorial Stadium with both teams huddling up for an hour and a half between each play.
I mean, I watched State and Auburn play 3-2, so I can imagine.
Oh, you did?
I was there. It was terrible.
You did.
I got all the Sly Kroom, and, I mean, there's others in the SEC around this time, but there's been plenty of 1970s football in the last 20 years.
Ed Orgeron and Sylvester Croom brought it to the state of Mississippi right around the same time. It's pretty remarkable. Out of Bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN, brought to you by the Bone-In Filet at Kessler Prime. Want to welcome you in. Farm Bureau Insurance call-in line, 601-707-3750. We'll have Lee Sterling coming up next. He'll give his picks. Looking forward to that. The game of the week by far is Ed Orgeron and LSU against Mike Leach and Mississippi State. And can they score over 21 against LSU?
What's the minimum number they need to win the game? Minimum number. have to score X. If you don't score X, you for sure are losing.
I would think they got to go north of 24.
That's exactly what I was thinking. If you're not winning this game 20-17, I just don't see it happening.
I don't think so. Even if Zach Arnett is an absolute freak tomorrow, which basically he will have to be for this thing to bleed all the way into the fourth quarter.
Correct.
Or Max Johnson has to throw you the football. I'm going north of 24 points, Blake.
Okay. Do you feel like Mississippi State...
The over-under's 56.
Which would put you 24-20. You're still well under.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like Mississippi State has to take an early lead to be in this game?
I would think so. And you especially can't have LSU
score quick.
Yeah. Within the first couple of minutes of the game. Memphis did that to you, and it just the Tulu kick return for a touchdown really set the tone against North Carolina State.
And it sparked the offense to come back against La Tech. I mean, you can look at those two returns.
Oh, well, that's a good point.
I mean, Mississippi State is a team that's going to have to feed off of some momentum created either in a turnover or in special teams because the offense...
Or a big offensive play.
Well, and it's got to be early because they've just struggled to get their feet under them. I mean, look at the way some of these games have started for Mississippi State. I mean, even NC State... They couldn't get a first down for the entire first quarter. They didn't get a first down until the second quarter. So if you don't have that kick return and you don't have a pick in the end zone, I mean, that's a whole different ballgame.
Well, and I think that's what people overlooked in the NC State game. They didn't get a first down in the first quarter.
Nothing in the first quarter.
They had a special teams touchdown and the defense played well.
Yeah, the pick in the end zone on that weird running back jump pass.
Oh, yeah. They did
the play
Tim
call.
Tebow play.
Terrible play call.
Yeah.
You don't run that in the first quarter. That's a terrible call.
Jalen Green, I think, transfer from the University of Texas Longhorns, picked that ball off in the end zone for Zach Arnett.
And also recovered a fumble in that game. That's what you have to do if you're Mississippi State. You have to create havoc for LSU's offense.
Yeah.
Because your offense needs time and opportunity to score.
Williams says now that Derek Stingley is out for LSU, Mississippi State wins by 4, Bo.
Wouldn't that be an incredible...
I don't think State fans care if it's a point or 4, but I see where you're going.
Wouldn't that be an incredible turn of events to lose to Memphis and turn around and beat LSU?
Yeah.
That gets... Okay, let me ask you this question. We haven't talked about this yet. LSU loses Saturday. Ed Orgeron still coaching the next Saturday?
He is. Yeah.
You feel confident?
I do.
Okay.
Who do they play? Auburn.
You don't think they'll tarmac him?
I don't.
At GTR, baby?
No. I don't think so. I don't think that Scott Woodward is scared of the $21 million buyout.
No.
But like a Pac-12 team is, right?
Correct.
You just have to have a different mentality.
But speaking of Pac-12...
I mean, if you don't believe that you can go get that as an athletic director, you need to be doing something else.
Yeah.
Because if you win, if you first, you should be able to go get it from your boosters. 2, if you get the right guy in place, you'll make up that dough in a heartbeat.
Tenfold.
Yeah.
It's why I was so shocked when the initial report came out that Southern Cal was afraid of getting a Kiffin or
somebody with
Urban
a buyout.
Meyer, someone with a buyout. Exactly.
That's so silly.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Well, that approach is that's a losing mentality.
Yeah, it's why you have one bowl trip in like 4 seasons and you're recruiting in the 60s.
But
now.
that's a good point. If Ed Orgeron were to get upset on Saturday,
second straight loss to MSU, which doesn't happen.
No.
You've lost to UCLA and MSU now. You haven't looked good. Things are trending backwards. I mean, Jordy Culotta came on this show 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago and said he thinks Orgeron's done. It's a matter of when they move on.
The Jordy Culotta name sounds like a guy who owns a restaurant in in Napa Valley. Is that? Do you kind of match that up?
It sounds like a wine guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a really, really cool wine bar and restaurant.
Like Culotta's. You go to Culotta's, it's an Italian wine restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see that.
Okay. Boy, if Ed Orgeron loses on Saturday, Blake.
See, that's what we haven't talked about is the fallout on that side.
Leach is here for a while. I know a lot of you don't like that, but he is. And Will Rogers is playing too early, and a lot of people don't like it when I say that. I think he's done a hell of a job. You're lucky to have him. Blake made a great point earlier. He may not be everything you want, you're lucky to have him. I mean, he's a kid with moxie and poise that's accurate. Back in a second with Lee Sterling.
You're listening to the Out of Bounds Show podcast powered by the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino at the Pearl River Resort. To get in on the action, visit Golden Moon Casino today.
When the lights are about to be turned off, you know what you need. Because you got to somehow make that paper, right?
Show me the money!
You come to the right place for that. Because it's time for Bo Bounds to
Show me the money!
show you the...
All right, let's have some fun with this real quick. The Out of Bounds Show is brought to you by the Breakfast Pizza and Tito's Vodka Bloody Mary at Bravo Italian Restaurant and Bar. If you haven't had their breakfast pizza, it is divine, my friends. Saturday, Sunday morning. And their Tito's Vodka Bloody Marys are great. We want to welcome in handicapper to the gods, ParamountSports.com, our friend Lee Sterling, straight out of Miami. He joins us on the Modelo guest line, and we have another big week of college and NFL, and I'm super excited about tomorrow morning, because we'll be in Starkville, and then Sunday, and then we get Dak on Monday. So let's start with blowout special. Lee Sterling, good morning. What is the blowout special this week?
Good morning. Also want to mention, you mentioned Tito's vodka. So I have celiac. I can't eat gluten, or at least very limited. So I have Tito's vodka. It's gluten-free, just so people know. So
love it.
Not a lot of, alcohol products. I can't have beer, but the Tito's always flowing on Saturday and Saturday night at my house watching the games. So anyone wants to stop in, just give me a ring.
Everybody, we're going to Lee's this weekend in Miami, so let's just go ahead and get the Southwest flight going.
Friends coming over from the west coast of Florida who are Texas fans, Texas A&amp fans. So we'll take care of them with the Tito's vodka. But here's my blowout special. So Kentucky takes on South Carolina. Cats were sleepwalking last week. I mean, just going through the motion. It was like a regular practice. Now, South Carolina lost 40-13. So you're saying, well, they wasn't too bad against Georgia. Well, they were down 40-6. I mean, Georgia after three quarters was dominating. They took all their starters out after three quarters. They literally called off the Dogs. Kentucky, I was really impressed with them in the Missouri game. They had 340 rushing yards. If not for that fumble into the end zone right before the half, I think they run away with that game. I'm not impressed with the South Carolina quarterbacks. I don't think they can make enough big plays here. And the guest 18-9 against the spread in the series. Hey, Shane Beamer's doing, all he can. He is 3-0 against the spread, but the product on the field isn't significantly better than last year. I like Kentucky 34-20.
Kentucky 34-20 blowout special, powered by ParamountSports.com. Lee, tell us what's going on this weekend.
Well, it's a promotion I get the most calls and emails about. Everyone's always saying, when's it coming? It's here. The world's famous Baker's Dozen. 13 games from tonight all the way through Monday night, just $97. And just go to ParamountSports.com and purchase it. And I'm going to throw something in. I know if I win for people, they're going to want to ride with me through the Super Bowl. If they purchase the Baker's Dozen, which people, left and right are purchasing. We're getting a purchase probably less than every 5 minutes. I will give you the UFC card. It's UFC 266, a pay-per-view on Saturday night. I have 7 selections, including a 50-unit max wager there. So 20 selections, football and UFC, when you purchase the Baker's Dozen. Just $97 at ParamountSports.com.
All right, Baker's Dozen, powered by ParamountSports.com for $97. Real quickly, have you ever been to a big fight in Vegas?
Yeah, I've been to plenty. In fact, used to go with my dad and his buddies. They
very cool.
Used to go on junkets. I don't know if you remember back in the day they had junkets, and I've seen Muhammad Ali. I've seen Larry Holmes. I've seen some of the big fights.
You got to see Ali?
I saw Ali against Larry Holmes too. It was sad. Muhammad Ali was just holding on, just covering up pretty much the whole fight. Outdoors, it was behind Caesars. In fact, I have a velour pillow that we sat on. We were 12th row center, sat on for that fight. And even a funnier story So we're there that weekend, and my dad was a dentist. He gambled. He did well, but he was with some really high flyers then, and turned out there's probably 7 or 8 of them total. And I go with my dad and one of the other guys. He took his son. So we're coming up from the elevator, and we get out, and sure enough, at the same time, who gets out? Sammy Davis Jr.
Nice.
And Sammy Davis Jr. sees us walking into the suite. It's a suite that had 8 bedrooms. So it had a big living room with a baby grand piano and 8 bedrooms. And he said, are you guys staying in there? And one of the guys said, yeah. He says, do you mind if I come in and play the piano for a little bit? He sat and played the piano for 45 minutes, singing and playing. I mean, private concert from Sammy Davis Jr. Is that incredible?
That is unbelievable. It's one of the biggest names in entertainment music the last 100 years in America. Right. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right, Lee Sterling, Baker's Dozen, powered by ParamountSports.com. 13 games, $97. And he talked about the UFC 50-unit play, too. So we're going to keep rolling here. We've got wrong team favored. Who's the wrong team favored, Lee Sterling?
So I'm looking at the Texas A&M Arkansas game, and A&M, a lot of hype going into the season. 2 key weaknesses. Obviously, quarterback Zach Calzada is not there yet, just barely 50% completion percentage against Colorado and New Mexico. Biggest problem is their offensive line. Lost 4 out of 5 starters from last year. They are not the same offense here. They're going to have to contend with an Arkansas team that's revitalized. Are they there yet? No, but Sam Pittman's done an incredible job. He had a real weakness on the defensive line, went to the transfer portal, pulled 3 guys in from there. They're 10-3 against the spread since he came over. And they've got a quarterback, KJ Jefferson, who's mobile, nice fit for Kendall Browse's offense, and 3 receivers that can make plays in Burks, Warren, and Morris here. Jimbo has failed to cover any of the 3 matchups versus Arkansas since he came to College Station when they played in Jerry's World, and it happens again. The wrong team is favored. Arkansas pulls off the shocker, 28-27 versus the Aggies.
That will not sit well in College Station. Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com, Baker's Dozen this week for $97, 13 games. All right, Lee, what is the lock of the week, according to Lee Sterling?
Lock of the week is the New England Patriots against New Orleans Saints. So Saints are without, it looks like 6 or 7 starters. They were without 8 or 9 last week. Best defensive lineman, Davenport, their best cover corner, Lattimore will miss this game. So, I mean, the hits keep coming to this team. Jameis Winston up and down. New England is solid. Mac Jones just doesn't make mistakes. No interceptions. I think they'll start pushing the ball down the field more now, and also really good special teams here. I'm laying the 3. I rate my games on locks from level 1, 2, and 3. Level 3 lock here, the New England Patriots over the New Orleans Saints.
All right, it is Baker's Dozen Weekend, powered by ParamountSports.com for only $97, 13 games. Lee Sterling and his team, ParamountSports.com. Baker's Dozen Weekend, powered by ParamountSports.com for only $97. And we already thought Lee Sterling was a cool guy, but now that we know he owns a velour pillow, the guy's a legend on this show. So, and he got to sit in a room with Sammy Davis Jr.
Right. Everyone has a brush with greatness. So,
golly.
I haven't had many, but that was one special weekend. So
incredible. All right. Have a great weekend, my man. We appreciate it, Lee.
You too, Bo. Take care.
Baker's Dozen. Oh, we forgot to give away the pick. We'll have to text him if he wants to do that. All right. 800-400-9741. Yeah. 800-400-9741. Let me get with Lee during the break, and we'll see if the first 5 callers get a pick. Powered by ParamountSports.com. Blake, he has a velour pillow. I mean, if you've got a purple mattress from Muskelly Sleep Store and you've got a velour pillow, you're winning in life. That man lives in Miami, and he's got a velour pillow. Good grief. You got to get a suit to match the pillow, and you're ready to roll. He got to hang out with Sammy Davis Jr. for 45 minutes as he played a little private concert at a suite in Las Vegas. That's awesome. The Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, brought to you by the Purple Mattress at Miskelly Sleep Store. Back in a second.
You're listening to the Out of Bounds podcast, powered by Welcome Home Beef. For the highest quality fillets, ribeyes, well, any cut of beef, you want to try Welcome Home Beef. Find it at a grocery store near you.
Oh, DraftKings line today has Bama minus 14.5, according to an unnamed texter, against Ole Miss. Bama minus 14.5. Ole Miss at Bama, Blake, in 8 days. Tuscaloosa, Alabama, home of Paul Bear Bryant.
Who's that?
Yes.
Saban's assistant?
The legendary Paul Bear Bryant. And home to Nick Saban and your favorite baseball coach, Brad Bohannon.
That's right.
Who made news this week.
America's favorite baseball
America's favorite baseball coach right there in T-Town, baby. You think Bohannon would go to Dreamland with us, Blake? Smash some ribs and drink some cold beer?
He'd be lucky if he got that opportunity.
That's a good point. That's a good point. He'll have to take a reservation, right?
Yeah, he's going to have to earn it.
Okay.
Right. Let me ask you this question. I know this wasn't what we were going to talk about, but you brought it up. When are we going to finally be able to admit that Saban's a better coach than Bear Bryant? It's not a joke. That's 100% serious.
It is extremely difficult to compare coaches from different eras.
However,
Bear Bryant was remarkable.
But it's unequivocal,
off the charts talented.
Unequivocally undebatable that this era is harder to win in, correct?
I agree that ESPN democratized college football and the scholarship limitations. Bear would sign 20 kids, put them on swimming scholarship, like Coach Vaught. And also juniors leaving. So you make a good point, Blake. I mean, to fill the cupboard back up, even though people think it's easy at Bama, a lot of football fans or listeners of maybe this show or another show think, well, it's easy at Bama. Well, it's not. But no, I mean, you're right, Blake. It's tough with social media and the fact that they are capped somewhat with Scallies, and yeah, juniors leaving, man, is huge. I think that's the big deal, Blake. Mm-hmm. To lose as many juniors as Alabama has lost the last 12 years and never lose your fastball. And I know he signs the best players, but it's absolutely remarkable. The SE, kind of like you, Blake Scott. The Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, is brought to you by Briarwood Wine and Spirits. Nate Dogg and the crew. I saw Nate's better half, Leslie, at Bravo Italian Restaurant and Bar yesterday. But Nate and Leslie have a great selection of Vino wine, both red and white. And they're very, very knowledgeable, as is their staff. So sommeliers everywhere. And if you got a question about, whatever wine you're hunting or would like to try, they'll be happy to help you. And then, of course, they've got a great selection of spirits, including Tito's Vodka and Four Roses Bourbon. But Briarwood Wine and Spirits is located on 4949 Old Canton Road. And Nate and Leslie have owned it for, well, maybe right at 15 years. We're live in the BankPlus Studio, Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We're streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app. And Blake wanted to bait me into this discussion, but I'm going to switch gears, and I'm going to say this again. The way that Mississippi State has been run the last 100 years, which is like a 73 Pinto on the offensive side of the football, you are lucky to have Will Rogers. Will isn't perfect. He's still learning. He's a true sophomore in age. that very rarely works out in the Southeastern Conference, and I can name 3 guys that are off the charts talented that were not ready as true sophomores. Eli Manning, Dak Prescott, and Matt Corral. All right, and Matt may be better than the other 2, but they're all great players who should be in the College Football Hall of Fame. Eli will be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And Matt Corral could be the number 1, 2, 3 pick in the NFL draft. They're great players who had big wins. Eli, Dak, Matt Corral. None were ready as true sophomores. You're lucky to have Will Rogers. And the fact that he's got all the poise and moxie and charisma and leadership tangibles that he has. And he may not be great at throwing the ball 60 yards through the air. Who cares? He's super accurate. He's given you a chance to win. And if you didn't have anything close to him, you would not have beaten Vanderbilt, Missouri, or Tulsa last year.
Correct.
And you wouldn't have beat Louisiana Tech in the fourth quarter. And after the first quarter, they played better against North Carolina State. They had some good moments on Saturday against Memphis, and they had some rough ones. But you're in the process of, a learning curve. Mm-hmm. And but you're lucky to have him. If you didn't have him, I don't think you have any idea how bad you'd be. I mean, I get that you're struggling and you're in major transition. And the last coach may have even burned it down more than you thought. But if you didn't have Will Rogers, you would be in deep cow manure.
Yeah, because he's not.
Last time I checked, that's probably not fun to be deep in.
No, he's not the reason you can't block. He's not the reason you had to rebuild an entire receiving corps that's never had
good players,
any good level of talent.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's not.
Well, Vanderbilt at times, I just want you to know, Vanderbilt at times has had better wide receivers than you. That's saying something,
Jackson
how
Prep
bad they are.
And MRA have had better receivers than Mississippi State.
Tonight, Madison Central and Starkville, you could argue that they will have better skill players than you've had at certain times over your 100-year history.
110%.
So,
and we had a question about that. Bulldog Jones asked yesterday. We didn't get to it, but he asked again today. In speaking about skill talent, we see Tulu's explosiveness on special teams.
Sure.
I think fans are asking, why are we not utilizing that explosiveness on offense more?
I think he's still young, and he's trying to wrap his brain around exactly what they want him to do in the passing game.
Where to be on the field when.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you're open, when to stop or run straight into another safety, and then you're covered again.
Yeah.
Look, the kid's got a lot of talent. Hey, Blake, Jonathan Mingo wasn't ready as a true freshman. He wasn't ready as a true sophomore, and this year he looks like a totally different player.
Elijah Moore.
Nobody was talking about Elijah Moore as a true freshman.
Nope.
All right. Or sophomore. And Elijah Moore just, again, reps, development, all that corny stuff that nobody wants to hear about. And he's one of the best receivers to ever play college football in the state of Mississippi. So Jaden Wiley will only be nobody cares about next year, and I get it. You care about tomorrow at 11 a.m., and I get it, and you should. But Wiley, Will, all these guys will be better, and they have a chance to be a lot better next year. But problem is your schedule flips.
Yeah.
See, you're weighing this thing where you got about as good a schedule as you can get in the Southeastern Conference, and you're 2-1, and you haven't played a conference game.
Yeah.
But you get your Power 5 non-con at home this year, and you don't ever get to play Vanderbilt. You get to play Vandy, and you get Kentucky at home.
Yeah.
So, it was all very manageable, but the bottom line is you're still in diapers. You're trying to, you're trying to get in the Ferrari and understand what all the buttons are supposed to do. And your rival is already in the Ferrari, and they know what all the buttons are supposed to do, and they're cruising at about 160 miles per hour. So that magnifies your inability to have more scoring possessions because Ole Miss is making it look easy. But I think if you ask Matt Corral if it was easy his first 2 years, he would say, I have no idea what the hell was going on then.
Yeah.
I didn't. I mean, it was all coming to me fast. The game was fast. Right now for Matt Corral, the game is slowed down. And he can pick his poison between Drummond, Sanders, Ely, and Mingo and all these guys, and things look good, and it's all synchronized, and the tempo and the rhythm is wonderful, like going to see an amazing top 1% orchestra. You don't have that in Starkville yet. They're trying to get in the thing, figure it out. Will's the driver. Jaden Wally's in shotgun. You got Charles Cross behind him. You got Tulu in the middle, and you got Marks over on the other side, and they're not sure exactly where to go and what all the buttons mean. It's part of it. They're all sophomores, and it's not what you want to hear. The Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, is brought to you by Dallas Body Shop in Ridgeland. For any collision repair that you or your family needs, take it to the experts. Dallas Body Shop in Ridgeland. They've been working on our vehicles for over 20 years. They do a great job. Right behind Acura of Jackson. Show is also brought to you by Fleetway Market. Fuel up with Fleetway as you get ready to go to your high school football game, your hunting camp, Starkville, wherever you're going, T-Town, wherever you're going this weekend. Fuel up at Fleetway Market in Gluckstadt, Madison, Dogwood, and many other locations, all the way down to McGee, Mississippi. Fuel up at Fleetway Market. They've also got a great selection of craft beer. And the Market Cafe in Gluckstadt serves some amazing food for your next tailgate. Fuel up at Fleetway Market. Fuel up your car and your family's car at Fleetway Market in Gluckstadt, Madison, and Dogwood. I've hit all three of them just in the last couple of weeks. Madison's my go-to because I've been going there for years, even before they partnered with us. Great group, Mississippi-owned. The Out of Bounds Show is powered by Mississippi entrepreneurs, including Fleetway Market. We're going to go to the Farm Bureau Insurance call-in line, 601-707-3750.
Drug
Dog, good morning. What's up?
Hey, Bo. Blake, hope y'all are having a good morning. Good discussion today. Earlier, it said something about the pace of play, like Lane Kiffin and Leach, and I definitely agree. Kiffin has got a fast pace of play, as we understand. But here's the thing that I'm confused about. In the 3-2 debacle with Kroom, we would break the huddles and come out with about 4 seconds left and snap the ball. Now we just stand at the line and we snap the ball with 4 seconds left. So what is the pace of play difference between a Kroom and a Leach at this point at his career at State?
Well, I think they actually have the ability to complete a forward pass, which was
foreign to soccer.
Foreign back then. So, they're trying to figure it out. I feel confident that they will speed up. They don't have to go as fast as Kiffin and Ole Miss, but that the offense will speed up maybe throughout the year, but definitely next year.
But he does have a point. We mentioned that yesterday, that the pace of play wasn't like when you make your offensive linemen stand there in that stance for 20 seconds.
It makes no sense. A lot of teams do that. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah. Those dudes are not built to do that over the course of several hours, knowing that you're going to throw the ball 50 to 65 times a game. If you don't think that there's going to be, a breakdown and fatigue and some other things, but they're not there yet. Yeah. So they're trying to get the Ferrari up and running. The Out of Bounds Show is brought to you by Went McGee, the Mortgage Man, mortgagemanms.com. You need to get qualified before you grab the house, because as you know, the homes in Madison and Rankin County are flying off the market. They are. Went McGee, mortgagemanms.com. I'm glad I'm not in the market and don't plan to be. But, I love that people are moving in and obviously I love that real estate agents are making a lot of money, and so is the Mortgage Man, mortgagemanms.com, Went McGee. I've got Blake Mania with me. I'm your host, Bo Bounds. We're going to drop the Lee. We've already had some requests. We're going to drop the Lee Sterling interview again. Are we going to do it at 9 or 9:15?
9 o'clock.
9 a.m. All right. Lee Sterling will stop by and give us his Lock of the Week, Wrong Team Favorite, and Blowout special at 9 a.m. He does have his Baker's Dozen special this weekend for only $97, which is incredible. 13 games, $97, powered by ParamountSports.com. Blake brought up a good topic. What if LSU is up upset this weekend? What if they lose? What does that mean for Ed Orgeron? With everything swirling and going on around the program, if he loses to this Mississippi State team that is, really a work in progress, I think that was probably being kind.
For the second straight year.
Yeah. Then, it could get ugly. Then he's got Auburn. Look, LSU's not guaranteed to go on the road to Kentucky in 2 weeks and win.
No.
They're just not. They should be. That should be a guaranteed W. We recruit in the top 5. We have great athletes. We are loaded, but they're not. And then, Auburn at home before that. So, and then Florida and at Ole Miss. I mean, look, if this gets away from him tomorrow, and again, they should win the game. And look, they should be favored by 9 in this game.
Yeah.
Okay? It just goes to show you what Vegas, thinks. They don't trust, as Blake said, they don't trust Ed Orgeron, but they don't trust Kirby Smart either. But a little bit different level. Kirby's the thing is not imploding by any stretch under Coach Kirby Smart at the University of Georgia Bulldogs. But if they lose tomorrow, you know what? You know the drill. The heat gets turned up a little bit more in Baton Rouge.
Well, because if you lose tomorrow, now all of a sudden, Ole Miss, they're definitely losing. Alabama, they're definitely losing. So that's 2 more losses. You're 6-2 to start. You probably are going to struggle with Arkansas and Florida. That's 2 potential losses. Auburn's going to be tough. That's a 5th potential loss. So if you lose to Mississippi State, all of a sudden you're looking at 3-5 or 4-4 in the SEC as the best case scenario.
Right.
Let me tell you something about LSU fans. If you say 4-4, they're thinking they're 4 for 4 on 4th down conversions, not 4-4 in the SEC. All right, be very clear about that.
Oh.
They will burn that place to the ground if they go 4-4, or heaven forbid 3-5 in the SEC.
Mississippi State fans need Zach Arnett to have an MVP day and Will Rogers to have an MVP day tomorrow,
and probably some skill players to make some missed tackles happen.
Yeah. And you can't get pinned all day inside your 15. We've watched that dog and pony show before. If Austin Williams is gonna, he's got to field the punts.
Yep.
You got to figure out what you're going to do on kickoffs. Either take the ball at the 25 or maybe LSU kicks it out of bounds. You get it at the 35. But Will needs a little, in that offensive line, they need a little bit of room. If you're starting your possessions inside the 15, you could be in trouble. That's pin your ears back territory. Obviously, you're not snapping the ball a lot of times until under 4 seconds, which means the D can really get going and understand, obviously they're about to snap the ball here. Whereas when you're looking at it with 15, 13, 11 seconds, you're not exactly sure what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. But you need an MVP. And that's a lot to ask a true sophomore, but you need an MVP day from Will. You need somebody like Tulu or somebody like Forbes or Emerson to make a huge play. And Arnett's got to be almost flawless to win. LSU, again, can throw up on each other, throw up on themselves, botch some things, and still win the game. You can't. It's just the way it is.
Yep.
You got a better coaching staff. They have a lot more talent. Did I miss anything on that?
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
I think the biggest question to me, like you
I
said,
could have made it more complicated, but I thought I'd just lay it out. Simple.
No, the biggest question is, can you stop their defense from creating havoc in your backfield?
Yeah.
If Will has a little bit of time to throw,
but if he's
got
blindsided,
Yep.
the ball pops out, it's on the ground, you're inside the 15, it's rolling towards the end zone.
you're in trouble.
Yeah. They jump on it on the 2 or 3 yard.
Yeah.
Those are things that you have to avoid.
I want to see Mississippi State win because great for Mississippi State, but I almost more so want to see it because I'm just so intrigued by this Orgeron story.
Me too.
I think the wheels are already off, but gosh, I'm a sucker for havoc, and I'd love to see. And I like look, I cheer for LSU outside of Mississippi State. I went there. I have friends there. I like LSU, but
personal problem. But go ahead.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm kidding. I love Baton
addiction's
Rouge
a tough job.
hanging out there.
But look, It's like watching the best soap opera you've ever had unfold before your eyes.
If it doesn't happen this weekend,
it could be next
coming.
Oh, it's incredible, though. It's so much fun to watch.
Will fall off totally this year. I'm making that prediction right now.
I agree. I'm with you and Collada. I say that it is over. It's just a matter of when. And look, but who was it? Mike Detillier said that even if they were to get rid of Orgeron, they don't have anybody on the staff ready to be a head coach as an interim anyway.
Yeah.
They got nobody on the staff. They got two coordinators who've never been anything more than a coordinator at like the high school level.
You and I will do it. That's
right.
cool.
And I'll take a pay cut. $2 million, I'm there, baby.
Boom.
That's a savings for Scott Woodward.
Boom.
Savings.
Scott Woodward has already checked out on Ed Orgeron. He's just not going to say it.
Well, it would be shocking to me if when they do fire him, they don't come out immediately and say they fired him with cause, and then they'll just go to court about it.
ResDog on the agup.com text line says you probably need to officially down punts as well. I think they probably worked on that this week. I think I think they did. I think they actually worked on downing punts, and I think that you'll probably see them get the ball and take it over to the official. Now, there may be a little smartass in that, but it'll also make sure that Blake, there's no funny business, and you don't leave it into the officials' hands of how they want to interpret the play.
It's why batters in baseball don't let a 2-strike pitch go close. You can't give the umpire a reason to put you in a bad spot. Can't do the same in football.
ResDog also says the rest of the SEC is cheering for LSU tomorrow, so Orgeron stays in Baton Rouge.
That part is accurate.
Goodness gracious. Where are we and what is going on? Good show today. Out of Bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. If you miss Show Me the Money with Dave Bartu, he was phenomenal. And it's on Apple Podcasts. Search the Out of Bounds Show. Apple Podcasts, search the Out of Bounds Show. Show Me the Money is a segment that we've started to do. Love it. And it's a lot of fun. And Bartu gives some picks and why he's picking that game and so on. That's on Apple Podcasts. Search the Out of Bounds Show. We're also on Spotify and Podbean. The Out of Bounds Show is brought to you by Sellers Wine and Spirits in Starkville on Russell Street. It's where you want to go for game day in Stark Vegas. Sellers Wine and Spirits on Russell in the historic Cotton District. How about that, Blake? Sellers Wine and Spirits, Russell Street in Stark Vegas, Mississippi. And they've got a great selection of what you need to get ready for game day. Show is also brought to you by Bulldog Burger in Ridgeland. Delicious burgers. Their spring rolls are great. Great selection of craft beer. And you can sit outside and watch the game, or inside, and watch the games at Bulldog Burger in Ridgeland, Starkville, and Tupelo.
Boom.
Are you going to Starkville later?
I will be headed up there sooner than later. That's right.
Nice.
Got to watch the train wreck unfold in front of me. It's just, is it going to be a purple and gold one or a maroon and white one?
This game is going to be wild to see what happens, just considering where they both are. Like,
100%.
I have no idea how it's going to play out, but I cannot wait until 11 a.m. tomorrow morning and throughout the lunchtime hour and as it bleeds into the afternoon to see what happens at Davis Wade Stadium. Hey, thanks for listening to the Out of Bounds Show on ESPN 105.9 The Zone. And thank you for hitting Apple Podcast. Search the Out of Bounds Show. Apple Podcast. Search the Out of Bounds Show. The Ryder Cup this weekend, too, Blake. I'll keep an eye on that, probably more so on Sunday.
U.S. is up.
All right. The United States of America is up over Europe, Whistling Straits in Wisconsin. We've lost 7-9. We need to get a W. DJ Dustin Johnson putting for birdie right now to win the hole. Our Ryder Cup update there was brought to you by Edwin Watts Golf Shop on County Line Road. That's Edwin Watts Golf Shop on County Line Road before you hit Live Oaks Golf Club.